Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we're taking something that honestly might look like a standard corporate document on the surface, the Walgreens 2014 Diversity and Inclusion Report, and we're going to transform it into a dynamic lesson on how diversity actually drives business strategy. I'm super excited to guide you through this material because what we're looking at here, it isn't just a corporate checklist. It's a proven, real-world blueprint for driving strategy and creating serious community impact. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. 9%. Just pause and think about that for a second. Walgreens employs 9% of all pharmacists in America. That is massive scale, right out of the gate. I mean, when an organization of this immense size shifts its internal culture and business practices, that impact, it's felt nationwide. It's like a giant ripple effect. And we're going to trace that ripple effect across 4 key areas today. First, a legacy of inclusion. Second, the Walgreens workforce. Third, supplier diversity success. And finally, impacting the community. So, starting off with Section 1, a legacy of inclusion. To really understand where they're going, we first have to look at their foundational past. Let's go all the way back to 1928, decades before the Civil Rights Movement, right? Founder Charles R. Walgreens Sr. set an incredibly early standard for workplace equality. He explicitly insisted that Black and white pharmacists be paid exactly the same, no exceptions. That foundational principle of respect and fair dealing was literally baked into the company's DNA from its absolute earliest days. And, modern leaders within the company are still carrying that exact same torch today. Take Sue Banderaga, a market vice president. She notes that it's up to every single team member to walk the talk by really seeing and listening to each other. She emphasizes that building on this historical legacy means actively challenging ourselves to recognize our own unconscious biases, because that's how you make truly objective, inclusive decisions every single day. And this brilliantly illustrates that legacy in action. Look at Henry Cade. He joined Walgreens in 1959, and Cade became an absolute trailblazer in the industry. He actually became the very first Black pharmacist to serve as president of the National Association of Boards of Pharmacy. It is just a powerful example of how an inclusive internal culture elevates leaders who then go on to shape an entire profession. Which brings us to the second ring of our ripple effect. Section 2, the Walgreens workforce. Let's look at this diverse team. When we contrast the demographics of Walgreens' overall workforce against the national average, the difference is pretty striking. People of color make up 42.8% of the Walgreens workforce. Compare that to just 33% in the wider U.S. labor force. They are clearly and intentionally building a team that actually reflects the incredibly multicultural markets they serve. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the specific breakdown for pharmacists. Walgreens completely outpaces the U.S. labor force when it comes to employing both women and people of color in these absolutely crucial healthcare roles. For instance, over 61% of their pharmacists are women, and over 40% are people of color. So they aren't just diverse at the entry level, they're highly diverse in their specialized professional ranks. Now, this commitment to inclusion also extends really powerfully to individuals with disabilities. Their core mantra here is brilliantly simple. Same job, same performance. That's it. There are no special jobs carved out. Team members with and without disabilities have the exact same responsibilities, they face the exact same performance expectations, and they receive equal pay. Let's move to and see how this builds into a really actionable hiring model. Walgreens created the READY program. That stands for the Retail Employees with Disabilities Initiative. And it kind of flips the standard hiring model completely on its head. Here's how it works. First, candidates enroll via a community agency. Second, they go through up to 6 weeks of dedicated in-store training. And third, if they succeed there, their application is flagged as recommended for hire. So instead of hoping they work out, they train candidates first to set them up for success, ensuring they can confidently perform at a really high level. Moving right along to Part 3, Supplier Diversity Success. Let's talk about strategic spending. So the crucial point is this: $1 billion. For the very first time in their history, in 2014, Walgreens surpassed $1 billion in documented spending with diverse suppliers in a single fiscal year. $1 billion. This isn't just some feel-good public relations initiative, right? This is a massive economic engine that is actively empowering minority women, veteran, and disabled-owned businesses all across the country. Let's ground those massive numbers in a real-world microstory. Meet Brian Ortiz. He runs a minority-owned business called Trinidad Construction. Walgreens actually tapped them to help execute their new, well-experienced store remodels. And this project literally transformed the physical layout of their stores to make pharmacists more accessible to patients.
Now, Walgreens was the first major company to give this young construction business such a massive opportunity. And guess what? That helped Trinidad grow its reputation so they could go on to work with other major corporations. A true ripple effect.
Or consider Cornell McBride Jr. He runs a Black-owned hair care company that for over 2 decades had exclusively sold premium products to professional salons. But by partnering with Walgreens, they successfully expanded their new Design Essentials Naturals consumer line into 1,200 Walgreens stores. 1,200! This partnership opened up a huge new retail channel for an established minority-owned business, while also giving Walgreens customers exactly the specialized products they were actually looking for. And the year-over-year growth statistics absolutely back this up. Look at this. In 2014, their spending with Hispanic-owned businesses increased by 11%. Asian-owned businesses went up by 14%. And African-American-owned businesses, they saw a staggering 53% increase in spend. This proves for sure that inclusive procurement is a rapidly accelerating priority that delivers real, tangible economic value. All right, let's explore the final outermost ring of our ripple effect. Section 4, impacting the community.
What we're seeing here represents a fundamental shift in their whole business model. Walgreens is consciously evolving from just being a traditional drugstore into a really comprehensive community health and daily living destination. I mean, they are providing more than 9.6 million vaccinations a year and operating over 400 in-store healthcare clinics. So they aren't just selling retail products anymore. They are actively engaging in frontline community primary care.
And they're doing this in some incredibly innovative, culturally competent ways. Take the First Lady's Health Initiative, for example. It is a brilliant partnership that literally brings church pews and lab coats together. Walgreens partners with pastors' wives, who are often affectionately known as First Ladies in African-American churches, to encourage their congregations to get much-needed health screenings. It's a surprising but highly effective way to build trust and deliver essential services like blood pressure and diabetes tests directly into underserved communities.
And this community trust is backed up by a huge network of powerful partnerships. We're talking partnerships with Black churches, historically Black colleges and universities, Hispanic-serving institutions, AARP, and the National Urban League. These strategic alliances are absolutely crucial for providing free prevention and early detection services directly to the populations who are facing the most severe health disparities.
So, as we pull all these threads together, this quote from retiring CEO Greg Wasson perfectly summarizes our explainer today. He wrote, "Ultimately, diversity and inclusion is simply all about people." And wow, we've seen exactly how true that is today. Whether it's honoring a 1928 legacy of fair pay, training a highly diverse modern workforce, spending $1 billion with diverse suppliers, or setting up clinics with community church leaders, diversity is fundamentally about empowering people to drive the entire business forward. So I want to leave you with this somewhat provocative question to chew on. How can your own workplace turn diversity from a simple corporate checklist into a billion-dollar growth strategy? Think about the amazing ripple effects you could create in your own workforce, your supply chain, and your community. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you next time.